Women cannot afford to not be selfish, especially Black women. If you look at the statistics, we are more likely to be single mothers, we are more likely to live in poverty after children. So many factors of decline for Black women, especially in life, especially after we have children. I don't know if you know, but this is a TikTok I just posted. 80% of the new diagnoses of autoimmune diseases were women. And I read a book and I read into some studies and I found out why. I also found out that women who were not married and did not have children, percent chance of not developing an autoimmune disease later on in life versus women who were married and did have children. Basically, it led back to stress of raising children, taking care of the household, going to work, bills, marital problems, and not having time for herself. Summed up, women take up the bulk of everything. Women are more likely to catch autoimmune diseases, this is per the CDC, more likely to catch autoimmune diseases from the stress of being married and having children. We cannot afford to not be selfish. I am not saying Black women have to marry a millionaire. I'm not saying he has to be 6 feet before I get in my comments with this Kevin Samuels red pill rhetoric. The same man who died the same way he said women would. But Black women cannot afford to entertain bandits. We gain nothing and we lose everything by entertaining men who are not of quality. Right? Now, water seeks its own level. Some women will date men that are not of quality because they aren't of quality. I am not talking about those women. I'm talking about the highly educated women like myself. I am a registered nurse. I got my bachelor's in nursing. I cannot afford. I'm 25, single, childless, right? Not single relationship status, but I'm not married and I'm childless. I cannot afford to entertain a bandit. I will gain nothing and lose everything. The standards for non-Black women are not the same for Black women. As you see in this TikTok, this man was seen on TikTok saying that he would never date a single mother. He would never date a woman with a BBL. He would never date a woman with OF. And then he met a white woman. Now he's a stepfather to 2 white kids. He's dating a woman who has a BBL. And he's engaged to this woman who also had OF.
The worst environment is for a kid to be raised in a single mother household. Statistics show that single mother households leads to juvenile delinquents. It leads to most of men in prison came from single mother households. Most of the school shooters came from single mother households. Most of the degeneracy that you see in the gang violence in Chicago and Newark, New Jersey, and all of these areas around the world, in LA and things like that. These are, areas where there's no father figure in the home because the woman kicked the man out the home. She married the government via welfare, was like, oh, let me get this government check. Or if not that, she just chose the wrong man. Like, you got power. You choose who you give your sex to. Power, right? You have power. You choose which man you're gonna have a kid by. You got power. You get to choose if you can, terminate the baby or not. You got so much power, but you still make poor decisions with your power. So when I see a single mom, right, I see a woman that made all the wrong choices and only prioritized how she feels. She's selfish.
That should tell you something. The standards Black men have for Black women are not the same for white women or non-Black women, right? So that should tell you right there, you should be selfish. You can't go out and have as many kids because you're not going to be forgiven by your own men the same way a non-Black woman would be, right? We don't have the luxury of being forgiven for permanent mistakes. We don't have the luxury of being forgiven for permanent mistakes. Another video of a man being a stepfather to a mother of 6. If that one were Black, he would never. We cannot make the same mistakes they can, others can. This is why I say you have to be picky. You have to be choosy. You have to be selfish. You have to look for the best suitable option out there for you, right? Because you're going to crumble the most. You have the most to face. You will get hit the hardest. After Black women have children, we have over 60% chance of being in poverty. Poverty. I just think we have to be smarter on who we entertain. We have to entertain men who have careers, who are not on drugs, who are not just in the third, because they don't beat women, they don't lie, they don't cheat, they're great human beings. It's like, well, duh, that's the fucking bare minimum. Because would a woman, like, you're a good human. That's the fucking standard. But most importantly, we have to let this fantasy of black love go. There are not enough black men for every black woman. That's not including gay. That's not including men who are not interested in black women. That's not including the ones who are in jail. The ones who just don't date black women. We outnumber black men, so therefore we don't have the luxury of counting on black love. A lot of black women are going to die alone holding on to this idea of black love. It's not real. Let it go. Bottom line, we face the most consequences for being reckless with our wombs and being reckless in dating. You as a black woman will face the most hurt consequences. You will perish, including the black man, being reckless in dating. I hope somebody sees this and understand that you have to be selfish and you have to see what man and what situation benefits me in my future the most. I don't think black women should do casual dating. I don't even think black women have the luxury of engaging in casual unprotected sex. We don't. With the STD rates in our community, the children out of wedlock, it's a lot of things that we cannot do. Bottom line, we can't be dumb. I'm back from my hiatus. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be back for more.